today face more complexity, more pressure, more expectations than ever. How can anyone thrive amidst this? Well, it may surprise you to learn that embracing conflict may actually be the secret. Fortunately, many of us have been taught to avoid conflict. And that's because we think the picture on the left is what conflict looks like, and the picture on the right is a perfect, harmonious team. But avoiding conflict is costing us trust, inclusion, and innovation. Conflict's not the problem, it's the solution, but it's how we go about it. Have you ever dodged conflict and found the situation improved? Likely, rarely to never. And that's because the more we avoid it, the greater space for negativity to breed, for stories to shape in people's minds. So by the time we address it, there's little room for productive conversation. And here's the bigger picture. Avoiding conflict silences voices and weakens culture, resulting in things like groupthink, which is why facial recognition technology was originally only developed to recognize white men. And just ask Kodak or Blockbuster what happens when stagnation occurs. When people don't feel seen or heard, their sense of purpose gets eroded, which is a top driver for disengagement. With over half of US employees actively seeking new employment, suffering engagement only serves to amplify the turnover risk. So how can we reframe this in our minds? So, a couple examples. You can think of conflict like a campfire. When contained, it gives off light and heat. However, if ignored or mishandled, it'll either be burnt out, resulting in lost opportunity, or it'll burn everything down, destructive conflict, right? So tended properly, it fuels growth, connection, energy. You can also think of conflict, healthy conflict, like a muscle that grows stronger through resistance. No tension, no strength. Resistance builds resilience. And conflict is data. When someone's pushing back, they're revealing what matters most to them. It's so important in that moment to really lean in and help them feel seen and heard. And fake harmony is incredibly dangerous for a team, right? So honest disagreement is so much better for inclusion than fake agreement. And it may sound counterintuitive, but trust and conflict are actually interconnected. Trust is the willingness to be vulnerable with another person based upon the expectation of follow-through. Conflict reveals the connection in values and behaviors that reinforce trustworthiness. Tension is a catalyst for trust. Psychological safety tells us it's okay to take risks, express ideas, admit when we're wrong, right? All without the fear of negative consequences. So what happens when we prioritize niceties, avoiding discomfort, and similarities versus common ground? Safety and team success. So what can we do? First, model vulnerability. So it's not just admitting when you're wrong, it is actively seeking pushback and welcoming it when it comes. Thanking the person, not being dismissive or defensive, right? Second, set discussion norms. Set those as a team. Be collaborative about it, right? What those norms are going to do is actually figure out how do we go about disagreement, right? And that'll lessen anxiety on the team. This is especially important if you have virtual or hybrid teams. Ask better questions. What am I missing? Who sees this differently? Who's missing from the room? Encourage your team members to ask those questions too, and think about those before and after the meeting as well. Interrupt bias. Call it out. Empower team members to do so as well. That can be, set up right in those structural norms that you decide on together as a team. And finally, don't wait to repair trust when it's been broken. Actively seek insight from team members and work through conversations where you're revisiting harmful moments to make amends. Leverage feedback frameworks and tools already in the organization to connect the dots for everyone. So just to bring this to life, I'll give you an example. I was in a meeting with executives, and one of them brought up concerns that an employee resource group initiative would alienate the dominant group. The other executives were actually quite dismissive of that, interestingly enough, but I decided to engage in a dialogue with him. From that ongoing dialogue, soon things clicked. He invited me to succession planning conversations, but he didn't need me there. He was calling out bias, he was fostering productive disagreement, and through him doing that with his team, they reported higher levels of psychological safety and engagement. And with that inclusive succession planning, we knew that would continue on in the business. So here's my challenge to you. What's one conflict you're avoiding this week. Lean into it with curiosity, because successful leaders of the future won't avoid conflict, they'll harness it.